class. Let's get it. How you doing today? It's Monday. Monday's about that time. It's about that time. That was one of my favorite things, walking out to a game. Everybody knew it. Everybody on the Saints would always come up to me and be, Jet, what time is it? It's about that time. uh, let's get it. Parker Freeman in too. Man, we going. Today, it's Monday. People want to win some prizes, win some money. We're about to enter. We're almost to day 10. We're going to up the prizes. We're going to up the monies. We're going to get you what you need. Man, I just got done reading an article that how many people are going into the holidays unemployed through some crisis. It's tough. But that's why we're here. You got to learn to earn. Marathon Mondays, beat baby. Yeah. Monday, man, I just got done, nose deep in working, and I pull up. I get excited for this because this is like what I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed public speaking. That's what the business was going to be. And, obviously if you see me online, this is what I do. So this is exciting. But I pulled up like 45 minutes ago. I was like, damn, it's Monday. I'll show you. So this is what I get done. So if you can see the back hanger. So this is an inversion table. So it flips up. Oh, let me see if I can get it like that. If y'all want an investment, it's one of the coolest things out there. I mean, kind of focuses you. It's meditative to some degree. It's great on the spine. Just reverse all of it. I got to do it from the football days, but you know how it is. John Freeman and Parker Freeman in the house. So let's start. We got 2-3 minutes. Let's start with the question. What's anybody got today? Today we are going to talk, we're just going to start kicking off chapter 3. Chapter 3. We went through chapter 1, why do you care? Chapter 2, how does money create money? Chapter 3 is how do you begin to control your money? That is such an important lesson as we look at this coronavirus, as we look at issues on a daily basis. It is just one of those things that we got to be able to manage. We are going to build into today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, our cash management system, which could possibly be one of the best chapters in the Money Vehicle course. We call it Money Buckets. Let's go, Buffalo. I see you, Matty Matt. Let's go, Buffalo. Yeah, Roland, everybody keeps asking me, man, is Allen, is he the dude? Here's a question. Is anybody else just absolutely shocked from a financial perspective that the Eagles could considerably move on from Wentz when he's making $38 million, I think, this year? Or the Rams possibly move on from Goff when, he signed a 4-year, some $100 million, took them to a Super Bowl. Both of those guys took them to Super Bowls. And yeah, that's what have you done for me lately kind of league. Creating good habits. Cue, routine, reward. John Kim. We're going to get into that tomorrow. Any Tom Brady stories? I shared one the other day about Tom Brady and I. Good question. Who was that? Andrew. About Tom Brady and I competing for 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 conversions. I got to see Tom beat me twice on game-winning drives. But no, TB12 and I never really crossed paths too much. I don't get too much there. I don't know how they're going to pay new players. John Freeman, you're right, bro. You commit to those quarterbacks. Those quarterback contracts have me worried about Allen. And what does it do to the cap to the rest of the threat? That's what's crazy is you get these teams like Buffalo who had a massive defense, massive run game, and just never had a quarterback. Then you eventually got to decide, like, are we going to pay for this? I got to watch him, Janovich, fullback for the Browns. What were they playing? Was that yesterday? Obviously, it was yesterday. It was Sunday. Got to watch him play. I would put him in the top, man. He's performing. He's more physical than obviously a young man out in the Niners. Niners player being the dude. What do you think John Thuney will do after this season? What do you think he's going to do after this season? I couldn't, JJ15 couldn't even begin to answer that. But it's a great question. Have you ever had any offers for front office positions? From Andrew. Andrew, appreciate it. Yeah. So when I was leaving, I'm proud to say what's funny is I got cut so many times, people began to think that I was a character issue. People were like, hey, yo, year 2 for you. You already been on 8 teams. Are you an asshole? Like, is that what this is? Like, do you have a problem? No, I'm a likable guy. I just kept getting cut. And, that's an issue and people have to deal with it. But as I was wrapping up, as I started to finish, I had a few teams that I had stopped by. More importantly, I had a few people who I had connected with throughout that reached out and asked if it was of interest. And at the time, it really wasn't. I don't know if I could ever go back into it. It's one of those things like you got to strike while the iron's hot. But I did. I considered it. I wouldn't want to be a scout. I was actually closer with like the salary cap people. I thought that was a really interesting aspect of the NFL as we look at, again, the Rams, the Eagles, all these people making these decisions. They're deciding between millions of dollars going away, being dead money on their salary cap. So, we'll see how they all pan out. Opportunity cost might be a lead in for what we're about to talk to today. I want him to stay with the Pats, but hey, this is the beauty of the NFL. It's a free agent market. You have the leverage to negotiate. You don't get a dime over what you deserve. You don't get a dime less than you can get. You have the freedom to go and argue for what you feel you have the leverage. Love the Browns helmet. They're making a playoff run. Browns are doing it. It ain't all the Baker story, but yesterday sure was. I saw the first time Browns quarterback threw for 4 touchdowns and a half since Otto Graham in 1957. I thought that was a hysterical stat in one of those things. What's the opportunity cost of Eagles waiving Wentz? This year it's $38 million. You're saying goodbye to somebody who you have paid a significant amount of money. This year, next year, you are accepting the idea that you simply don't want the distraction, the disturbance, and really the general vibe in a locker room. When you say, I'm comfortable putting away that much, you're exactly right, sunk cost and that much dead money out there. I don't think anybody can do it, honestly. I've been around. I've been on teams where guys make the team because of money. I don't think anybody has the audacity to make those kinds of decisions, because the person who eventually says, do it, let's get rid of Wentz, let's get rid of Goff, let's move on, those millions are fine, that person's going to be held responsible. And when and if you do not win because of that decision, now your job is on the line. And I don't think enough people would take on that kind of responsibility. The Eagles just need to blow everything up and start over. Jizzle on my nizzle. A lot of teams have to do that from time to time. It is just astounding, a few years outside of a Super Bowl run, that they're sitting in this situation. And it is even crazier that they can go win like 2 games and still win the NFC East. I don't know if that is going to happen, but that is one of the definitions. I wanted to talk about Wentz and Goff because it defines opportunity cost. And this consideration that you first have to start, Jizzle said, same thing happened to my Giants. Amazingly, yeah, it has been happening to the Giants quite frequently. And it looks like they made a good decision. Young man got hurt. I was shocked to see Colt McCoy, man. Colt was playing back when I was playing, and he's still in there. I was like, good for him. So it was interesting to see him get a win. Big loss for the Seahawks. Probably the worst loss in the Pete Carroll era. Manav says the NFC East should be dismantled. Chiefs Kingdom coming in. He's probably going to agree with you. But yeah, the NFC East is just pitiful. Again, I was a part of that Saints team that went to the 7-9 Seahawks for the Beastquake game. no losing team should host a playoff game, but one of them will again this year. It's going to be a crazy weird. General thoughts on the XFL and their future. We'll go Cole. Good question. Let's go one more question, then we're going to jump into the topic of the day. Cole, my thoughts on the XFL. Number one, really like that they got The Rock involved. I still think the Super Bowl versus the Pats is the biggest loss. Yeah, you might be right. They got The Rock, so they got a brand. They got some interest. Once again, McMahon, all that. B-class football is never going to be a hot commodity, and they are continually trying to pass into the NFL aura as competitive football, and it just will never be able to be on that same level, that same tier, because half the players who are there, the ones who are good enough to play in the NFL, they don't want to be in the XFL. It is a bummer. They need to continue to look at it as and where I think the XFL is really going to go is an alternative to the NC2A. If you graduate high school, you want to go make a little bit of money before you can go into the NFL because of the age requirements, the XFL becomes your, farm league, or your buffer, or your D league for the NBA. That is where I think the XFL could actually make some success. Do you think Mayfield needs to humble himself more? He's doing okay, and but I see that ego. I don't think it's gotten out of control yet. You do see all the commercials. Like, there's a reason he has an ego. He's the man. But as of right now, that ego's got him to where he is. That ego's got him to winning games. And he seems like he has a little bit more control of it. I think, personally, and you tell me your opinion, he got categorized with the Johnny Manziel kind of era. Like, hey, these guys are just real egotistical and they do all these things. So I don't know if I've seen the same kind of ego. I think he was just, kind of outlandish. Browns quarterback. They're the same guy. It was definitely more one than the other. So we'll see that. Your opinion as to why the Lions have never been a winning franchise. We went to the playoffs the year I was there. Don't think they should have got rid of Jim Caldwell. Nobody can give me a logical reason why that happened. But unfortunately, that just happens in franchises. I'm out here in Seattle. Ask a Mariners fan why they think that they've never been able to have a winning franchise. Kind of like the G League, exactly. XFL becomes the G League for the NFL. I think that would be a really profitable and valuable entity. Not competing, but as a farmer, as a feeder. Do you think Burrow can fully recover and become a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback? Yes. Fully recover? No. But after you get injured, you never 100% recover. So looking at it that way, he's going to come back. He's going to be able to produce. Will he be a Pro Bowl caliber player? I couldn't have answered that before. It was too small of a sample size. So let's absolutely agree with the Manziel era, and that's what he stepped into. I just don't want him to fail. Agree on Caldwell. Patricia was Quinn's boy from New England. All good points. So today, Money Vehicle Challenge, day 7. We're already 7 days in. That's a week. If you have taken one of the lessons, one of the actions, you are a week's worth into controlling your financial future. And trust me, we're just getting warmed up. We got banking, we got credit, we got taxes, we got investments, we got all that coming down the line, always ending with that Roth account, because I feel like every one of us on this call should at least have our Roth accounts open. So today we look at the decisions. Should the Eagles get rid of Wentz? Should the Rams get rid of it? Should we go out and buy a latte? Everybody hates the latte example. Welcome in, Seth. You haven't missed anything. Everybody hates that latte example, but it is just so logical. We talked about it with the golden rule a few minutes ago. OSU should be in the 3rd place. The CFP. Yeah, they will. Don't worry. Ohio State's got too much swag and pull. So as we look at these decisions, one of the most misunderstood concepts around money, as well as our habits in our daily lives, is this idea of opportunity cost. People always say, my opportunity cost was what I chose. That's the cost of what I chose. This is my opportunity. And we seldom really fundamentally understand that opportunity cost is what we gave up. It is any positives of the other situations and the scenarios. We look at what type of ore are you from yesterday? Are you a spendor, a savor, or an investor? I don't want you to look at your decision and regret it or question it. What I want you to do is be able to say, in this situation, in this opportunity, I was a spendor. But now I have to consciously understand that I am giving up the positives of being that savor, that being that investor. If I choose to be an investor, there are positives of being a spendor that I am giving up. I want you to be conscious of this. And you're saying, Jed, I'm done with the mindset. I'm done with the mental aspects. I want to start learning more about money. We got more days coming. We're going. But I really want to emphasize this idea that up front, as we get rolling, you want to have success. And you want to be able to repeatedly have success, something we're going to talk about tomorrow. But these decisions, these daily habits, these daily understandings, we have to be able to look at them and really understand, why are we making them? Well, we set goals a few chapters ago. So when I make the decision today, am I making it with the opportunity cost in mind to go ahead and make my goals come to fruition? Is Max Borghi played? They would beat USC. J-Rock. I don't believe that. That game was horrible. Also, that pick where the guy hurdled him was one of the coolest plays I've seen in a long time. But Max Borghi is a Sunday type of player. He wasn't going to change that game. Take the year off, get healthy, hopefully come back next year. So as we look at this, a lot of people say, well, what is an example of opportunity cost? Donald Trump spray tanner just joined. He had an opportunity cost when he looked at what is his screen name going to be? What is the opportunity cost of those decisions? I'm about to graduate college, and I've been told not to invest in a 401k or Roth until I pay off loans. Should I stick with the basic 50-30-20 saving plan? So Manev, one, I need to learn how to pronounce your name correctly. As Jedediah, I hate mispronouncing people's names. 50-30-20 is an interesting concept. It is a good practice. In 2 days, we will learn the 5 choices of our money bucket system. I will give you a new percentages. It's a little more detailed for me and our students. It's a little more strict, or it's a little more, not strict, it's a little more understandable from the 50-30-20. Sam Bearcats. What Bearcats are those, Sam? Where are you at? You're just about to graduate college. You're Bearcats. People are telling me not to do a 401k or a Roth until I pay off my loans. That is an opportunity cost. I want to answer that question right now. So here is my opportunity cost. I can choose to pay down my debt. I have credit card debt. I have student loan debt. I have a car debt. Cincinnati. What's up, Cincy? Very cool, Bearcats. I can choose to pay down these debts, or I can choose to employ my money. Wait a minute. I've heard that before. We talked about that a day or two ago. I can make my money go to work for me and start to create its own money. Here is how I would make this decision. What is the interest rate on your debt? Credit card, no brainer. 10 times out of 10, go pay off that credit card debt. When I start to look at car loans or student loans, well, here's an interesting tip. Student loans are tax deductible, the interest you pay on them. So if you have a student loan of 5%, you're actually going to have a net effect to you of less than that 5% because you get to pay off those student loans or get to use those deductions. So looking at that, I would begin to question, how much are my debts? Is it 5% or less? Then I'm comfortable going and starting to invest and make my money go to work for me, because I know over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, I can expect a higher return. So that is where I really want you to start to see the system begin. Why you want to start is because once you start creating employees, they continue to compound, that 8th wonder of the world we talked about. So if you were looking at a decision of how to pay off debt or start to invest, I would look at, number one, if it's credit card, pay it off. Number two, what is that interest rate? And do I get a tax deduction as I do with student loans? Car loans, you don't get that same tax deduction, but car loans right now could be at 2, 3, 4%, depending on where you are, what bank you use. Would you invest in Chris Gronkowski's business for Ice Shaker? Would I invest in the business? Probably not. Mainly because I have no idea what the business is or the model or really anything about it other than he's a former football player, smart enough dude, and has a business. I like Chris as a guy. I got to meet him a couple times, got to know him, and we're in the fullback fraternity. So you know what? I might change my answer to yes based on supporting a fullback. But no, I don't just invest willy-nilly in friends or anybody. Would you choose a 10-year plan or a 20-year for very high student loans? That's a great question. Personally, I would prioritize, I would target them, and I would start to say, my student loans are something I want to get out of. Give me the shorter term time period. Let me get out of them. If I don't think I'd be able to handle that higher payment, that's when you start to go to that 20-year. But if you look at the next 10 and say, let's get out of these because I want to start being able to prioritize more and more of my money going to the future and going to working, then I would take that shorter term. Very similar concept with buying a home. But yeah, student loans is the pandemic of the future. It is the next issue that we are going to have to face as a country and as a society. But you came to that opportunity cost decision. What is the opportunity cost of going to college? I am investing in myself. I am taking out debt to put towards my financial future. I believe it's going to improve and change the trajectory of my future. That is the opportunity cost that I had at hand. Did you make the right decision? Depends on what you go do with it. But loans are a very, very interesting issue. Similar subject comes up with renting or buying. When I go out and I start looking at renting or buying a car, renting or buying a house, do I want to have ownership of that house? With ownership, that means I have to go fix everything. That ownership doesn't come all with roses. With renting, I have a landlord. Sure, I have the flexibility of getting out of that apartment next month, but I also have a landlord who has control over my tenancy and what I can do. I can't just go knock stuff up on the wall if I'm renting. If I own my home, I do. And another interesting opportunity cost around renting or buying is a fixed mortgage is a standard fee or is a fixed payment. A rent is going to probably go up in your time there. So looking at it from a cash flow perspective, mortgages should remain fixed other than your insurance and your taxes, which is another concept that we need to start to understand around mortgages is they are not just paying down the down payment and then paying the interest. You have to pay property taxes, you have to pay home insurance, and that gets bundled up into yours. Mark Cuban invested in it. That's why I might. J-Rock, Cube's obviously a good investor, but I'm not going to live my life based on what the Cubes does. Shaquille, go Huskies. I'm pretty sure they just lost, so I'm going to be okay with the Go Huskies right now. They didn't lose as bad as my Cougs, so good for you. And we had hope for the Pac-12. Right now it's Colorado and USC, and USC is not as good as advertised. So why doesn't everyone get a fixed mortgage? Great question. Jizzle on my tizzle. So Harris on K95, you're probably asking the same question. Why doesn't everybody get a fixed rate mortgage? Few reasons. So number one, people look at the length of time they expect to be in that home. And what you can do is you can get a lower interest rate as an adjustable rate. So a bank or a mortgage company will come to you and say, hey, Jizzle, I will give you a 4% interest rate for the next 7 years. And then after 7 years, I get to choose what I want that interest rate to be. Not really, but it can go up and it can go down. More than likely, it will go up. So in 7 years, starting in year 8, you're going to not pay 4%. You're going to start having to pay 7 or 8% for the life of that loan. Why I would do that is if I'm going to move out of my house in the next 5 years, I'm okay. I'm okay with that risk. You're telling me in year 8, I'm going to have to pay higher. I'm going to be out of here in the next 5. So that is why I would take a adjustable rate mortgage. It's going to save me money in the short term, but I am not buying my forever home. I am not purchasing a house that I think I'm going to be in for 30 years. That is why I would pay or start to take an adjustable rate mortgage. It's because I think I can save on some dollar and dimes in between now and then. So as we looked at it, the opportunity cost is the value, the positives that you give up as you make decisions. Finances are all about your opportunity cost. Did you win a ring with the Saints? I got there the year after, 2010. I got to see all the rings, got to hear a lot of good stories, but no, I did not get to be a Super Bowl world champion. It's a bummer. The other concept I want to talk is we got 5 minutes left today. Our rookie to veteran, they won 109 if I remember correctly. Yep, I got there in 2010. Look at that. Rabbit. Who that, babe? Who that say they're going to beat them Saints? I love it. Got a little who. You got a Saints helmet up there. Look, you got a Saints ball. That one's from Drew right there. We'll talk about that one on another day. So as we look at this, I want to introduce you to this final concept. As we talked, rookie to veteran is the mindset behind our finances, what we're going to do to practice these. And today, the concept I learned and I stole from NFL locker rooms is why I welcome failure. That catches people off guard, but I want to walk you through the 4 reasons why failure to me is arguably one of the best gifts you can be given. So as you look at this, so many people see losing or failing as a finish, and I want you to get rid of that mindset. The first reason why I welcome failure is because it begins to callous your mind. The Bills suck. Oh, I'm glad you joined now because people were hating. People were bumping up the Bills a minute ago, and I'd love to see that crosshairs. Brian 12, the first reason I welcome failure is because it calluses your mind. Goggins, former Marine, former Army Ranger, looks at this and says, if I can toughen my mind, I can be unstoppable. That is the beginning of this. Why I'm okay with you failing in money right now is because I want you to be controlling it and I want you to toughen from it for failing in the future. That is the first part of failing to me is as I got cut 12 times in the NFL, I realized each and every one made me that much tougher, made me that much more resilient, and it made me that much more harder to defeat. I'm a hard thing to kill. Do you have a schedule that you come on here? Yes, I do. We're going every day of December at 7 o'clock Eastern. We're doing 1 money principle and 1 mindset from rookie to veteran. I was a wrestler in high school. Our coach echoed this sentiment every day. Jizzle, you and I, we get each other, bro. Griff Strock SC, welcome in. What the hell is an IRA? Western Teak, welcome back, brother. Let's get that here 1 second. Let me finish this thought on failure, and I'll get you on the IRA here in a second. All right, so the first reason I welcome failure is it calluses your mind. The second reason is it builds confidence, and that seems like an oxymoron, but I guarantee you this. The more you begin to accept and be comfortable with being defeated in the moment, you will look at it and no longer fear it. Your confidence will begin to grow, and it believe me, after I got cut 6 times, after you get fired, after you miss this, after somebody beats you, the idea of losing is not as terrifying. It is not as fearful. So you welcome it because it actually will build your confidence if you have the right mindset. Thoughts on Will Fuller getting suspended for PEDs? You know when you're going to get tested in the NFL. If you get caught, it's a bonehead move. That was straight enough? NFL really nerfed Will Fuller. Yeah, he did something wrong. And I don't know what it was, but that's a bummer. callous your mind, confidence. It gives you clarity. As a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur now, but as an athlete, as a student, as a professional, people think getting told no is the worst thing in the world. Being told no gives you clarity. It gives you a direction. That door closed. You are now forced to go find a new opening, and more than likely, you are going to be headed towards what you should have been doing in the first place. So that clarity from a no, from a failure, what were you doing wrong? What can you improve on? And where should you be going to try to do that? The last one, the fourth reason why I welcome failure is because you're always one step closer. Thank you for this one, John Kim. Always appreciate you, bro. So I always am one step closer. One of the greatest concepts I heard about this is Michael Jordan shot 946 game-winning shots. He missed 700. You don't remember those, but you will remember this. Anybody who has achieved success has always failed more than they have succeeded. They have always failed more than they have succeeded. And with that thought, with that welcoming, with those swings, with those reps, you begin to understand I am one step closer. I am one step closer to what I want, which is my rich goal, which is what I wrote down. Did Gardner Minshew just join? Was that Gardner? I look at that and I say, bring it on. Welcome failure, because it will make you more confident. It will callous you. It will give you clarity, and it will get you one step closer. Was college random drug testing compared to the NFL, knowing when you get tested? So in college, you got tested a lot less. And yeah, it was pretty random. Like nobody really knew what or how or when. The NFL, especially street drugs like marijuana and stuff, you know exactly when you're going to get tested for those. For steroids and PEDs, it is a little bit more random unless you've popped in the past. Then it becomes very routine in your system. So no, this is the NFL. This is a piece of how you're going to make money. You can't take the shortcuts. We only get a 24-hour test in D2. 24 hours. You got to report within 24 hours. So Cole, that's very similar. Freshman year in wrestling, I went 0-17. My senior year, I won team MVP. That's it. Who was that? Jizzle. That's the mindset. I lost every time, but every time I walked away, I got a little bit tougher. I got a little bit better. Got a little more clarity on what I had to do. Cole mode, LOL, playing D. Oh, J-Rock. I learned something every time I stepped on the mat. That's the game here, fellas and ladies. We need to look at money no differently. If you learn something every day, if you take this concept of opportunity cost, start to measure out what decisions did you make today? What decisions did you make this week? What decisions are you going to make tomorrow? Measure your opportunity cost. I'm okay with what you decide if you understood what you gave up. That is the opportunity cost. The question today, the winner. I learned something every time. The winner today, give me the definition of opportunity cost and give me one thing of why you should welcome failure. One reason to welcome failure. Definition of opportunity cost, one reason you welcome failure. I think the NFL should allow steroids because it's people's jobs online. They need the job. Yeah, I kind of get where you're going with that, but opportunity cost is sacrifice, time you could have, and it's something else. The cost of the choice you didn't choose, callous your mind. Rabid. Oh, Jizzle, you were right there. I see you, John Kim. I'm going with Rabid. John, I get you too. Rabbboud. Rabbboud. Get you a follow, get you a win of the day, get you a prize, you get money, you get a course, you get a book, you get a card, your decision. Jizzle, you had it. You just didn't get the second answer in there, bro. Western Teak, I'm coming to your IRA question right now. What you give up online of a choice you take. Love it. Western's got that opportunity cost. J-Rock, don't hate D2. And D2's, hey, they real. The cost of giving up something. Love it, Manav. D2 is smaller than D1. Pronounced Aboud. Oh, Well, there's an R. All right, Aboud. I got you, Aboud. You are the winner of the day. Appreciate you. My bad on the name. Will you give up? Love it. Appreciate you, EDB, XCIV. Damn, Western Teak. You good. What's my opportunity cost if I chose a signed card this time? We get it. We'll get you. I'll get you tomorrow, Jizzle. LMAO, that's why my first initial. Oh, there you go. All right, where's D2? Okay, question from Western Teak. What is an IRA? It is an individual retirement account. So if you have a 401k, the James, who dat? Always get that who dat, babe. If you have a 401k, that is through a company. If you have an IRA, that is an individual account. Both of them are yours, but one is run through your company, one is run through you on your own. So why, when we look at Roth accounts, can you have a Roth 401k? Yes. Can you have a Roth IRA? Yes. Can you have a traditional 401k? Can you have a traditional IRA? You look at those. So the difference between a 401k or IRA is, do you have a traditional employer, or is this independent and this is on your own? Through an employer, they're going to give you investment options. They're going to give you a system. On your own, you have to go open the account, manage the account, invest it all on your own. So that is the difference between 401k and IRA. Aboud is our winner for today. Opportunity cost, welcome failure. We will see you all tomorrow, 7 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. Can you not touch your money until you're 59? Can you have one that you can get out earlier without penalty? Yes, you can. Western Teak Money Vehicle Course, Chapter 10 introduces us to why the Roth account will allow you to take money out without penalty. That is what we want to get to. That is the understanding. But no, IRAs, 401ks will both hold your money until you're 59 and a half, or if you take it out early. Manav, learned a lot, made my day. That's what we want. That's all we want. That's what we're here for. Come back tomorrow. Let's keep learning, keep winning. Go ahead and share this with one of your friends. Get them on here. And all y'all, enjoy the day.